Welcome to Observer TV News from Toronto, Wednesday, November 4th. We're covering reactions to the U.S. election south of the border. I'm Luke Rivers, and our reporters are fanned out across Ontario and overseas to bring you the latest news. We have several reports. First, we go to Jack Adams, live in Keswick, with the latest reaction on federal officials.
Thanks, Francis. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau expressed that he would be watching part of last night's election, but not the whole thing, as we're not expecting to see results soon as to who will win the US election. He did express the importance of cooperation between our two countries as we go through these very tough times with the global pandemic and COVID-19 virus. Erin O'Toole also expressed the same, showing that cooperation between the two countries will be vital during these trying times. Jagmeet Singh, on the other hand, did not feel quite the same and expressed on Twitter his feelings towards Donald Trump. In all caps, he wrote, "Vote him out," showing that he felt that Donald Trump's service in the last 4 years has been inadequate, and that he has very serious concerns over how 4 more years of Trump being in office would impact the current virus and troubling times. I'm Jack Adams, Observer TV News, and over to you, Jason.
Thank you, Jack. Yes, I'm live here in Toronto, Ontario, with reaction from the NHL and the MLB. Looking at the social media for players, the team itself, there is no reaction whatsoever, as there is no definite winner for this election. However, let's just briefly talk about what's been happening. In this historical election in the middle of a pandemic, Joe Biden currently leads Trump 224 to 213, according to MSNBC. Earlier this morning, President Trump declared that his party won, even though millions of votes have gone unaccounted for, a lot of them being mailed-in votes. Obviously, this news will be updated as the hour passes, as the day passes. So I'll have to say stick around and stay updated. For Observer TV News, I'm Jason DeMano. Francis, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Jason. Next, we take a look from across the Atlantic. In Valencia, Spain, where reporter Enrique Domingo is live in front of the U.S. consulate with a look at what American travelers can expect if they want to go home.
Thank you. Yes, I'm live at the U.S. consulate in Valencia, Spain, where we just got some information in regards to American citizens living abroad. In the case of return, all American citizens are still able to return to the U.S., but they might be required to be on quarantine for 14 days. Upon their arrival, they will undergo a medical check where they will be asked about their medical history as well as their current condition. The government is also requiring all returning citizens to travel through one of their 13 designated airports, such as Chicago O'Hare International Airport or Los Angeles International Airport. They are also encouraging travelers to regularly check the airline's website for any travel plan updates or restrictions. More information can be found on the U.S. government website. That's all from here. Enrique Domingo, Observer TV News, back to you.
That was Enrique Domingo reporting live from Spain. Now we go to local news with reporter Tianah Watson for local celebrity news and reaction on the election.
Hello and thank you. I'm Tianah Watson reporting live to you from Yonge and Dundas Square with reactions from your favorite Canadian celebrities. Over the past 4 years, Canadian celebs have had a lot to say about some of the decisions and actions Donald Trump has done while in office. Familiar faces such as Drake, Seth Rogen, Justin Bieber, Jim Carrey, and Nina Dobrev have had some words for President Trump. Words such as indicted, impeached, and imprisoned. While we wait for this election to come to a close and results to pour in, we're sure that they will be able to speak again on how they feel about Donald Trump. Thank you.
Now we go live with Maddie Smart in front of the U.S. Embassy.
Hello and thank you. I'm across the street from the U.S. consulate downtown Toronto right now, where the scene here is just like any other day, which cannot be said for many major cities across the U.S. right now. Despite the inconclusive election results, many protests and rallies have already started to pop up across the United States, many of them being run by the Black Lives Matter group, which we thought we might see mirrored here in Toronto as they were many times this summer. But so far, the Black Lives Matter chapter of Toronto has not issued a statement. We might see something later this week as more ballots get counted and tensions continue to rise in the States. Thank you. I'm Madeline Smart for Observer News. Back to you.
Now we go live with Toronto Observer's Francis Paul for live reaction from the Toronto Raptors.
Thanks, and hello everyone. I am here with the latest reaction from the Toronto Raptors on the US election. During the NBA restart, the Toronto Raptors made it known as a team that in order to create change, you must vote. Kyle Lowry took to Twitter to indicate that he has voted. Role players on the team, like Rondae Hollis-Jefferson and Matt Thomas, are encouraging their followers to vote and to make sure their voices are heard. Raptors head coach Nick Nurse refers to this election as an election of a lifetime and said he could not sit this one out. In the last US election, only 5% of Americans living in Canada voted. Nick Nurse is encouraging a vast majority of Americans living in Canada who didn't vote to vote in this one. As of right now, we do not know who will win, but one thing for certain is that the Toronto Raptors as a team will be following. That's all for now. I'm Francis Paul, Observer TV News. Back to you.
Thanks, Francis. That is our coverage for the hour of the US election. Tune in for more coverage at torontoobserver.ca and on all our social media platforms. From us here at Toronto Observer, I'm Luke Rivers.